Fumi is back for the next Hack City comedy. Both he and yours truly, that's Mike Nguyen, are doing our half-hour-long sets. Can we do it? Come find out. It's happening August 12th, 7:30 p.m. at Union Hall in Brooklyn. Tickets available in the episode description at asiannotasianpod.com or just Google Hack City Comedy. See you there.
And look at these white kids who like knew at 10, at 8, made their own puppets, practiced, did shows, and their parents are like, yes, let us buy you scraps
puppets,
of fabric and set up
We're
a
gonna
camera
send you
for
to Italy.
you.
Yeah,
exactly. And, you know, they've known what they wanted to do forever. And I see these like 20-year-old kids and I'm like, I'm at the level that they are. And then it's that hierarchical thing that happens with Asian people where you're like, you go to this school, you start off at this job, and at this age, you should be at this level already.
Yeah, totally.
And so I've had such like an insecurity complex about like, I'm not where I should be right now, you know? Not that that should matter because we're here now, you know? But, you know, it's like something you kind of have to like battle against.
And welcome everybody to another episode of the Asian Not Asian podcast. The podcast, the only podcast, I think, with a great blend of smarts and funnies and some heartfelt stuff.
Wow, this is a different intro.
And jerk-off jokes. All of them, in equal measure. So I am your host, Mike Nguyen.
I'm Jenny Arimoto.
I, for a second, forgot my name. And so I'm glad that I saved it. Today is July 9th. I think the order for this will be a little bit strange, but it'll be fun. Very quickly, if you hear a weird whistling sound or squeaking sound, that is the AC running. I cannot turn it off. We will suffocate. So I'm sorry. I will try to minimize that. We will do that in post. But this is a beautiful day in New York City. Very quickly, if you're listening to the podcast on your iPhone, take a screenshot, put it on your Instagram stories, tag us at Asian Not Asian Pod, tag us on individually too, and it'll be a lot of fun. Leave us a review if you're listening to this on the Apple Podcast app. If you are on Spotify, you can always hit follow to always be up to date on the latest episodes. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hi YouTube, hit like, give us a little comment. Tell us how do you prefer your coffee? I love that. What do you know what I'm saying? I feel like you change your coffee.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, every order is just, I always say the sweetest version of whatever that is.
Because sometimes you like lattes.
Yes, but I put whatever it is, it just needs to be milk and sugar.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything that's like a dessert.
Okay. What is your order if we go to let's say we go to Starbucks? What's your order?
Oh, like a Frappuccino.
Okay. That's pretty simple. But it's not like Frappuccino with like extra whipped cream on top with caramel.
I can't remember what the possible variations are, and I get really anxious when I like have to order something. So I just do it whatever's on the menu. That looks the sweetest.
That's very nice of you.
Yeah.
That's a very Jenny Arimoto way to order coffee. And we'll have exactly what.
Sometimes when they're like, what milk do you want? I get really nervous because what if they don't have the
kind
milk
of
that I want?
Oh,
so I just go regular, and then I see whatever they take out.
Can I say something? This is very stupid woke of me. I always go, I'll take regular or whatever milk. Regular milk, I'll say that, but I'm like, what does that mean those other milks aren't regular?
Yeah, you're
Don't
like, am I
those
shaming
other
oat
milks,
milk? Yeah.
dude?
You know what? Oat milk is regular now in 2022.
It
That's
is.
regular.
That's what I'm saying. So what if I say regular and the guy's like, oh, hell yeah, dude, oat milk, bruh?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I got oat milk. Because I don't like oat milk. I'm one of the few
don't?
people. It has too much of itself.
No.
It's too oat milk. It's like,
It's too oaty?
It's too like, now it tastes like oat milk.
I've never been so offended in my life.
See?
And I've been yelled at on the streets for racism, and this is still offending me more.
This is the oat milk debate is the one that's going to rip this podcast apart. Don't other my oat milk. So tell us how how do you like your coffee? And it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to start the podcast with just asking each other our favorite question. Jenny, what kind of Asian were you this week?
I was an AOC Asian.
What's up?
That sounds more valiant than what it actually was.
Yeah. What's going on?
Okay, so basically, AOC, I love her. Like, I think that in the past couple of weeks when things have been very bleak and very bad, she has kind of been the maybe only person who has made me feel somewhat hopeful, because I think it's very easy to fall into a place of helplessness when bad things happen.
Sure.
But anyways, so she had this like post where she wrote this like beautiful story or beautiful thing about like not losing hope, that like change happens at the community level. And so I downloaded it and I was like reading it since basically the Supreme Court like Roe v. Wade overturn stuff happened. So I had it on my phone, and then I don't post on Instagram a lot because I get very anxious, but I decided I'm going to post this infographic because it helped me feel more hope and like feel also a sense of responsibility to be like a good person in the community. Yeah. So I like did a series of whatever like comedy videos and then put that just last without really much explanation, and I tagged her. Well, we're mutuals on Instagram because I had kind of gotten a video that got some attention last summer, and I think she followed me during the storm of that. I don't know because it happened so quickly, but someone had texted me and said, I think AOC follows you. And I freaked out, but I've done nothing with it because my number one concern is having her unfollow me. Yes. Everything I do is to make sure AOC continues to follow me.
Absolutely.
And so, but you know when you tag someone on Instagram now, it becomes a DM. It didn't used to be like that, but it's no longer just a notification. It's like a message. And so it'll be like one unread message, and then you can see if someone opened it. Yes. Well, I did that. I posted that not thinking, and I saw like, oh no, my friends who were tagged in the videos, whatever. And then at the bottom, I see AOC. And then 20 minutes later, it was like seen. Whoa. And I was like, no, I'm taking up AOC's time. She's so busy. Dang. She should be changing the world, not looking at my dumb videos. And so I was like, no. And then she liked the post, which is like the first post she's liked that I've posted since like the follow happened. And I literally was like, and then in my head I'm like, I hope she didn't watch all the videos. Some of them were weaker than the others.
Weaker than others. She DMs you that? She's just like, some of these are a little weak.
Yeah, I didn't really relate to the smart comedy videos. A little dumb for me, you know, like that wasn't really my taste.
Some of your editing, I thought their editing choices weren't what I would have done. Yeah,
the cuts are too quick. I couldn't really get a grasp on what the game of the scene was.
You know, this reminds me of when I wrote a brief that went up to the House of Representatives. Yeah, you know, you should take a lesson from that.
Yeah.
So
that was my week.
That's amazing. Yeah, I liked. Yeah, you took time away from her valuable.
I know. I took probably like 3 to 5 minutes at most, maybe 30 seconds to 5 minutes of her time.
You affected her social justice agenda, and that I think we can relate that directly to a 1 degree Celsius increase in climate temperature. Yeah, because of what you've done.
It's butterfly effect stuff.
That's amazing. I think that's great. Do you have any other famous people who follow you? Do you know?
She's for hands down the most famous person that follows me.
That's pretty good.
A lot of culinary people follow me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
But I think it's because the video I made was making fun of white people appropriating rice. So now I don't usually make content about food, but I do have like weirdly a lot of food people following me, and I'm like, that's cool. I don't post any food content or food jokes.
Food is I feel it's such a good space, especially if you want to do Asian-y stuff. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. I do think that naturally Asian people like that content.
Yeah, it's like it's so accessible. Food. Yeah, it's about food. That's great. That's amazing.
Mike, what type of Asian were you this week?
I was a spirited Asian this week because the last couple weeks, I mean, kind of bummed. I was just like, I took a little time away from doing stand-up. I mean, like a week.
Yeah.
And what did I even do? Oh, I went out of town for the 4th, and I was just hanging out, and it was good. I was just like kind of too in my head with a lot of stuff, like, you know, comedy and the podcast.
Yeah.
Just like other things too, like work and everything like that. So I got to step away, but and I hadn't done comedy in a while, and then I did an open mic. I haven't done an open mic.
Oh, wow.
I haven't done an open mic in years. I used to do pandemic Zoom open mics. And then one time I did one, and it was like I kind of like got ambushed into doing one of those Instagram live things.
Yeah.
And it was, I swear the host was calling in from his murder basement because it was so terrifying. I was like, I will never do this ever again.
Yeah.
So I just stopped doing open mics. Did an open mic. It was cool. It was nice to get out and just like just be funny, just like or try to be funny. I wasn't that funny. But then yesterday we had Hack City.
Yes.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
The last two were also good.
Right.
But just a little bit, I think people have been a little bit more cautious with variants happening. I think people were also out of town,
And can I just say this?
Yes.
When there's a majority Asian audience, which I love the Asian audiences, but everyone sometimes laughs so quietly.
Yes.
And yesterday was a little bit more of a fuller crowd and a mixed crowd.
Yes, it was a fuller crowd. It was a little bit more of a mixed crowd. It was a little rowdy. A little rowdier.
Yeah.
I think, Fumi and I used to have like the long conversations like this, and I would love to hear your opinion about it too, because he would argue that Asian people don't know how to act at a comedy show.
Yeah.
Which, it's not they're not having fun. It's just that at a comedy show, it's like the appropriate response is almost to be so loud to be rude.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I'm saying?
There's like a fine line, and you need to get right up to that line and provide like a lot of sound to validate the performance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why if you go to a quote unquote urban room, those can be like crazy shows, because if you make somebody laugh there, they like start running around in circles and you're like, that's amazing, right? But like I've done like Asian AF a bunch, right? Usually a great show, but it's a little bit more like a piano recital.
Well, that's what I was saying. So I hosted Asian AF 2 weeks ago, and I was watching all the acts from the back. And first of all the Asian people sat so far back,
so far away,
and all the people in the front were white. Not all of them, but like the front is more white and the back was more Asian. And I was like, what is this? Yeah. And then I was watching the table of Asian people laugh, and they kept covering their mouths laughing.
Yes, exactly.
They went
exactly.
And I was like, hi, thank you so much for coming. If you could just not cover your mouth when you laugh, it would really help all of us out. Like let it be known that things are funny.
Right. I don't think they're not trying to, they're not having fun. They're having fun.
They're having fun.
You can tell, you can look in their eyes and you can see they're having fun, but they're just like, they're used to, it's like, oh, if I'm having fun, I just got to take it easy. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta be respectful. I gotta listen to the jokes. They're really paying attention.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
they're paying the shit out of the attention, right? But don't worry, there's not a quiz at the end. Okay, don't worry. Just go nuts. If I say something hilarious, just be like that was great.
We should start miking all the Asian people just to like bring their laughs up to the same as like the other people in the room.
Yeah, exactly. That's so we had the show yesterday, and it was real good. It was a lot of fun.
So fun.
I did some stupid stuff. Next month, this is August 12th, the Hack City it'll be me and Fumi. Fumi will be back for Hack City next month, August 12th, and we're doing half hours each. So we're doing 30 and 30, and we'll probably have like another act or something in there also. But I'm like, I gotta like write jokes to fill 30 minutes, and it just felt good to just focus on the craft again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just to like, okay, this is what this is about. And the stress of having to do like a 30-minute set or something like that, I welcome that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I got into this for. I didn't get into this so I could like be, all up in my fucking Instagram insights. I fucking hate that word.
Don't ever look at it. I never once looked at it because it makes the one time I did it, the insights made me feel so horrible about myself.
It's so bad. And I'm sorry. We're doing this so we never have to use that word insights. Okay? I don't want to ever look at a graph.
Yeah.
I don't about
data analytics. You don't want to do that.
Fuck that.
You just want to make jokes.
Make jokes. Maybe jokes about data analytics. That's the gold mine right there. But I want to talk to our guest today. About insights and
and data
and this is this our guest is very data driven. Because this person you're gonna recognize this person from all these TED Talks about data analytics, and it's gonna be great. And if that's how I'm gonna set up. Do you wanna bring her up?
Our guest is a performer, puppeteer behind Jiyoung on Sesame Street. And also kind of has been on a press tour. I feel like I've seen like a lot of your clips just like around. And she's very funny so far from like the setting up. So I'm excited to like talk about, I say raunchy things. I think we should get into it.
I say raunchy insights.
Welcome to the pod, Kathy Kim.
Woo-hoo! Hi everybody. Wait, I've had to cough. I've had like a gunky in my throat. listening to you guys and trying not to laugh, so I had to get that out. And, like, for a second when you were like, oh, data driven, I'm like, I know Kathy Kim's a really common Korean name. Maybe they think they have the wrong one. But anyway, hi, I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
So
You guys
excited
are
to have
hilarious.
you.
Well, thank you for very much. I've only met you for, let's see here, looked like about 30 minutes, but you're very nice and funny so
Yeah.
far.
So,
Why, thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't know what I thought I was. I don't know
what
what
were
I
you
thought.
expecting?
Yeah, what were you expecting?
I don't know.
'Cause what did people expect when they're like, I'm going to meet a puppeteer today?
I thought for some reason that you would be really young. I thought.
How do you know I'm not? what the hell? What are you trying to say?
Yeah, I felt.
Do I not look 16 to you?
You do look 16.
No.
But I thought for some reason you were gonna be like, I just got out of puppeteering college.
Oh no,
Or something like that.
I had a weird journey. This is like a third quarter shift up in my career.
This is
That's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
In fact, that actually brings us to our first little thing we like to do.
Yes.
Okay, which is a fun minute to win it, which is you
Oh.
can talk about yourself for our fans to just catch you up with who you are and what
Oh,
what
boy.
is Kathy Kim all about. You have 1 minute.
I don't know this is
You
gonna
can
be
say
better.
anything.
You can say anything you want, but you have to use the whole minute. I'm going to use my new this Casio watch that I
was
just
all like
bought.
set up to be what kind of Asian I was, but
We're going to get to that too.
Oh,
We're going
okay.
to get to that too.
minute to win it.
Ready? And I purposely didn't tell you that where I was going to do this.
Oh, okay, cool. I like
Okay,
it.
ready? And begin.
Well, on the topic that we just jumped off of, I started off in production and I was working in reality TV story producing for like the last decade or so. Puppeteering came very late, at least for me. And like my first day of Sesame Street, I was pregnant with my daughter. I was like 35 years old, and then Chiyoung happened last year, and some other opportunities, and so now I guess I'm a puppeteer. What else do I talk about? I'm born and bred at Queens, New Yorker. I've maybe you didn't think I was young because I have gray hairs now because the world is like kind of garbage right now. But otherwise, gosh, I have a daughter. Her name is Quinn. She's 6.5. I'm a cancer survivor. I am active on Instagram, but I'm still private because I'm too lazy to set up a public account because my kid's on it, and I have no idea what an Instagram, Insight is.
Insight, yeah.
And I'm very bad at Excel spreadsheets, so I don't know. Maybe it's not for me.
And that's a minute. Yeah.
Oh, man,
you
everyone
crushed it.
I love when you hit the point of panic.
Yeah, it's always
Everyone
it's
hits it.
exactly at
Everybody
28
hits it?
seconds you run out of thing, and then everybody always goes, "The world's going to shit." Everyone always says it. It's always like, "Oh, so I've been living, I'm a puppeteer," and then, "Oh, the world is good, and we're all gonna die." I think that's great. I mean, I will. First of all, I am all about like career change Asians. You know what I'm saying? I was a career change Asian. I wasn't fucking an intern. I was an intern.
That's
like
for white old guys.
Yeah, exactly. I was an intern when I was like 30, pretending I was like 25. I was like, ha ha ha, yes, I just graduated from, and I, also the same thing, like not knowing what I'm doing, etc. But I would love to. I mean, you started off in production. So you were what shows were you working on?
Well, honestly, my first I wanted to go into children's TV production because Sesame
okay.
Street actually was a big influence on me.
Yeah.
But we're Asian. We don't think like, oh, who can be a puppeteer? Like,
Yeah.
let alone an
Right.
actor or comedian. Puppeteer is like
Yeah.
the most niche performance.
Yeah.
Like, but somehow that, like, I worked at Nickelodeon, Discovery Kids, huge recession, had to find work wherever I could, and I landed in non-scripted TV. So a lot of like food and travel stuff at first, and then a lot of Discovery Channel, like Red State dude-centric shows, like
Okay.
Moonshiners, Alaskan Bush People, Diesel Brothers. I had to learn how a diesel engine works. I don't know.
So you were like
So-
out in the field doing all sorts of stuff.
I used to be out in the field, and then I
Wow.
realized like it was just easier for me to, do post and stay,
Sure.
Yeah.
home and not have to travel. And I liked it. It's like putting together a puzzle.
Yeah.
I did some soapy stuff, but mostly like the Discovery Channel kind of docu-series. I did like one season of 90 Day Fiancé and Cake Boss, and
No way.
Yeah.
I love
That-
90 Day Fiancé. I've heard things about the production side which are kind of mixed, but I love this show.
Oh no, I mean, like, it's the people are. We don't have to do too much.
Yeah.
Is what
Oh,
I'll
really?
say.
You just have to watch it.
I mean, I don't even know if we want to get into that, but but it's true. Like with the Asian people, it's like that second that career shift happens so much for us because like our parents were never given blessings to do something that they did, and it was to protect us, right? It wasn't to quash our dreams. It was just like, we're here. This is not really our country. You got to play by the rules and work twice as hard.
Totally.
Right? And so then this other side effect happens where I don't know if this happens to you, but it's like, I look at these white kids who like knew at 10, at 8, made their own puppets, practiced, did shows, and their parents are like, yes, let us buy you scraps of fabric and set up a camera for you. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, they've known what they wanted to do forever. And I see these like 20-year-old kids and I'm like, I'm at the level that they are. And then it's that hierarchical thing that happens with Asian people where you're like, you go to this school, you start off at this job, and at this age, you should be at this level already.
Yeah, totally.
And so I've had such like an insecurity complex about like, I'm not where I should be right now, you know? Not that that should matter because we're here now, you know? But, you know, it's like something you kind of have to like battle against and, you know, because it shouldn't matter.
Right.
You know?
I feel too that it's very, for like creative Asian people, we end up getting into the creative-y field, but then the most stable version of that. You know what I'm saying? Like getting into production.
Yes.
Or like, you know, for me, I was like, oh, I want to be like a writer, but that's not like a real job. So I'll be in advertising because that's money. There's money in that. And I'm writing,
That's right.
you know? Sure, I'm writing like a Coke ad of, you know, about
or
penguins.
like UX designer.
Yes, exactly.
That's my
UX design. Yes, exactly.
He wanted to be an illustrator.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what he went to school for.
Right.
And he's a UX designer. He makes good money though, you know.
And I'm not hating on any of that stuff.
No.
You know, I may end up being a UX designer. I think maybe this comedy thing's not working out and I like drawing boxes. So I think that would be cool. That's what I assume UX designers do.
I have no idea. He's tried to explain it to me so many times and I just nod.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
So, I think it makes sense to, you know, like, okay, well, I'm interested in this thing, but I still need to have like every 2 weeks a paycheck, you know, or something, right? And you just kind of like, you end up in this, like tangentially in there, and then watching like from the, you're on the inside, but you're still like, you're outside of the dance circle, but you're in the dance circle.
Yeah, you're at
you
the
know?
club, but you're not in
You're
the
at
dance
the club,
circle.
but you're watching all like
You're still holding onto your purse.
you're drinking your rum and Coke, and you're like, oh, I'm not sure
gross.
if I should put this down, you know. And you're watching like the confident white kids, you know, going out there and
Isn't that crazy?
and
Like
dancing.
hearing you guys tell this story about like the white people going up to the front. It's like,
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Yeah, it's
And
exactly right.
I've had some friends because like you said, Jenny, like I it's weird because puppeteers obviously are not usually seen. That's the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But because Chiyoung and my story about not having representation as a kid, and like it's like this really beautiful full circle story that it's like a nice feel good story. I feel like that's like a good break from the rest of the news right now. And so, you know, like I've been weirdly visible for a puppeteer this year. And like a friend of mine was like, has anybody ever recognized you? I'm like, first of all, why? Okay, maybe. But even if they did, I don't think they would come up and say hi because they'd probably be like respectful and I don't need to bother them, you know?
You switched over to doing this.
Well, yeah, this was like, you know, talking about having like a regular job. You know, I was still working in production up to last year.
Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
And and so the Sesame Street thing, like I got into this audition only workshop in 2014. And then I thought, well, that was cool, like super random. But, you know, I got to live my dream for a couple days and I'll go back to my regular job.
Yeah.
And so for the next few seasons from that workshop, there was like maybe 60 of us, I want to say 70. They would pick some of us to come in to do a few days each season to assist, do background stuff, and kind
that's
of feel
cool.
us out, as it turns out.
Yeah.
And so they focused in on like 4 or 5 of us to teach us and grow us into possibly the next generation of Muppeteers on Sesame Street. But again, that was like very sporadic work. I'm a freelancer in post-production anyway.
Sure.
And so like they would be very understanding if like I had to leave for a day for Sesame Street, of course, with our blessings, you know? And so with like Chiyoung and some other like jobs that I had last year, my husband, who does have like a not regular schmegular, but he has a good job.
Yeah.
And he has like a salaried, you know, staff job. He's like, why don't you just take this year to see, you know, because I've had to turn down some other jobs when I've been working and I only make that time for Sesame or something bigger. And it turns out there is not a lot of work. And I knew this going into this. There is not a lot of puppet stuff.
I don't even know. Is there like a puppet Craigslist?
Yeah, there's like message groups, but it's also like who you know.
Sure.
The same people get called to build and staff up, and it's a very small world.
Yeah.
But it's pretty small. It's pretty niche. I mean, you'd be surprised like what random jobs people actually like. I have a friend who's working on some Apple TV Plus show. I guess we're not allowed to talk about yet, but it's like a sci-fi show, and so he and his team puppeteered all the robots on it.
Oh, wow. Shit.
I had a friend who during the pandemic, they weren't before there was like vaccines and stuff. They weren't allowed to have infants on set, and so she RC controlled.
There's a baby?
Like realistic babies, like to just kind of like move around, like what I mean. Like
shit.
There are
Matrix shit
random
right there, yeah.
puppet stuff to be had, but otherwise, like puppet shows like Sesame Street,
Yeah.
and
Right.
I got to work on Helpsters on Apple TV Plus, where I refriended Woody Foo,
Yeah.
who's a friend of yours. We had a lot of comedians on that show as special
Yeah, I
guests,
love Woody.
and it was amazing. But there's not a ton out there.
Yeah.
So there's like definitely this thing of like, okay, if I can't just be a stand-up, if I can't just be a puppeteer, how else do I keep this like performance career going? Like, do I do VO? Do I do, like what?
You have a great
you know.
voice.
I know. I was gonna say your voice is very expressive.
Oh,
like
thank you.
and like just smooth.
It is very smooth,
Oh,
and
thank
I
you.
feel you're talking. I'm going to say that you're articulate in the least articulate way possible. Like you sound,
Like conversational?
all the words are just spilling out of your mouth very simply.
I'm a little ADHD. I'm like,
no, not in that way.
I wish I was then, because
Yeah.
I'm just like, for me, there's like words, there's like, I would say 10 words that are about to go into my mouth at once. They all get stuck and then like they all dribble out.
Totally.
That's how I talk.
Oh.
But you're just like, I would definitely listen to you do
wow.
talk stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I was listening to like another podcast I had done, and I'm like, oh, I like start 4 different thoughts before I go into one. I'm like, and so, okay, well, the thing is, okay, but before that, and then I'll like go into it. I'm like, do I talk like that all the time?
No, it's great. I love
All
it.
right, great.
I love it. So I'm sorry. You have any? I would love to if you have questions.
Well, yeah, I guess my question, because I don't know anything about puppeteering. It's such like a niche thing.
It is so niche.
Which I think is very cool. But how did you kind of explain this? Because this is a very specific art form. I thought improv was specific. And so I was trying to explain that to my family, and my parents were like, we don't know what that is.
For sure.
Like, stand-up made more sense to them than improv.
Yeah, I can see that.
So how did you explain puppeteering to your family?
Well, I feel like improv would be the hardest thing to explain.
Yeah.
Because like, why would your parents? Because you think about like working hard,
Right.
practicing and honing a craft, and it's like you just go up there and make stuff
Exactly.
up.
And then they're like, why do you have to practice then? You're making it up.
You know what? It's like with puppeteering and improv, I feel like it's both those things you have trouble explaining to peers who
Right.
speak English and
Yeah.
grew up here how
Oh,
it
yeah.
works,
No.
let alone your immigrant Asian parents.
I never
Like,
get it when Jenny tells me what she does. I'm like, huh?
Like, I don't think so.
No.
No, my parents, like, they knew. I mean, like, listen, like, Sesame Street for me, like, I'm older. So, like, PBS was that was it. So
Right.
it was Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street were my options, and I was obsessed with those shows. So knowing that I was on the show with credibility and you can see my name credits, like, that's all they really cared
That is
about.
big time.
They
Sesame
didn't
Street
really-
feels big time.
That is
Yeah.
legit.
But they didn't really care. They didn't
Okay.
really care.
Yeah, okay.
And so,
Classic.
like, I tell this story, like, when we were, so Chiyoung was premiered on her own special. It was like an anti-Asian hate special on HBO Max, like, last fall. And, she was like a new character. She was like the star of the Thanksgiving Day parade float on our Sesame Street parade float. And everybody was like, wow, what are your parents? They must
Yeah.
be so proud. And I'm like, they don't know I'm doing this. And they're like, they don't know about Chiyoung? And I'm like, what? No, they don't care. They don't care. Like, why?
You could technically never tell them because they would never see your, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I wonder if they would be like, oh my God, have you seen this Ji Young person? Like they've got this puppet. Whoever is puppeteering that must be must be such a shame to their parents.
No. I will tell you what, like, the shift over was when Korean news, like in Korea.
Aha!
Yeah, you
That's-
guys know
I got
how
that.
there's an
Wait,
instant
yeah. Mike
glimmer.
had that.
Yeah,
The
we need to get you on
instant
NHK.
glimmer.
I know.
Yeah.
How do I get on Japanese news?
Yeah, for real. It's like they started sending me like, clips of articles. And honestly, it's like when their friends whose kids like actually went to Harvard and became doctors, they started calling and saying, we saw Kathy, this is so important work.
That's cool.
That's when they were like, so we have like a cacao, family text thread. And like we speak in Konglish, like they write in Hangul, and like, me and my brother write mostly in English. And I was like reading it, and sometimes I'll have to run it through Google Translate. And I'm like,
yeah.
Those are two things I have to translate those. And you know what those two things were? I'm proud of you.
No.
And racism.
Whoa. Dude.
I'm like,
that's
you
so
even know
funny.
what that is? It's amazing.
I'm surprised Google Translate knows what proud of you is. That doesn't compute.
Yeah,
I don't
it does
know
not
what-
compute. Wait, it's coming from an Asian language.
I don't
This
understand
does
this
not
at all.
make any
There's no
sense.
translation. This must be some
I'm proud
Martian
of,
shit. Yeah, exactly.
Adriana Kwan, and became a lawyer doctor.
Yeah, there you go. That makes more sense.
That's an actual person. I hope she's not listening. But
That's amazing. So I mean,
so how I explained it, like, but after like they actually cared
Right.
because like other parents like you show them pictures and videos like behind the scenes stuff, and it really is cool. Like it's honestly what sort of attracted me to it when I was a kid. Again,
Yeah.
never thought that like actual people got to do it for a
Right,
living.
yes.
But you see all those like behind the scenes stuff of like Jim Henson and his OG crew.
Yeah.
And like the sets, like the bedroom, like Bert and Ernie's like bedroom set is like elevated
Leg
like
lifted,
4 or 5
right.
feet up in the air, and everybody's got their hands over their heads and the little microphones, and it's like, whoa, it's like a magic trick. It's so cool. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to do that, And so getting to show them that, I think they realize like, oh, that's really neat. And getting to work with some like famous people, and
Yeah.
like, my mom knows who Margaret Cho is, and she was on an episode
you
of
go.
Helpsters, and she's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And it's like it needs outside cred
Yes.
Yes.
for them to be proud of you. They can't just be like, oh, are you fulfilling your childhood dream,
Right.
my darling daughter?
that's always the
Like,
way to win over Asian parents, I think, is to get their church friends.
Yes,
Involved.
talking about them.
Yeah.
Get the pastor to shout you out.
Oh, forget it.
Yo,
Done deal.
yo, Pastor
Yeah.
Kim just shouted me out. That's the
You're
way.
like too legit to quit at that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
Yes.
means, hey, that means Jesus likes me, dude.
Oh
Jesus
my God,
is cool
I didn't
with
even
me.
think about that.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to get Jesus involved.
Jesus is on my side.
Jesus on your side. Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. One of the crazy things about being a living, breathing human is that we only get one body and one mind. I always say that being alive is like being in a car and watching that car slowly fall apart, but if you get out of it, you die. If you knew you only would have one car your whole life, you'd probably take care of it pretty well. So why don't we treat our brains the same way? That's where things like BetterHelp Online Therapy come in. What's great about therapy is that it's all about taking time for yourself and an aspect of your health that you might not normally consider. When I've done therapy, I found it to be a great way to reflect, to acquire skills, to keep myself healthy, and to prioritize myself. What's cool about BetterHelp Online Therapy too is that it's online therapy. So you can do video, phone, or you can do chat only so you don't have to see anyone. It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in 48 hours. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Asian. That's betterhelp.com/Asian. Whoa, what was that? Dang, that's
what
crazy.
is that sound?
It's nice.
It's the sound of another sale on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business, so upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronized online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed.
Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. I love how Shopify has the tools and resources to make it easy for any business to succeed from down the street to around the globe. Like mine, Shopify powers a million businesses from first sale to full scale.
Reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more.
Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond.
More than a store, Shopify grows with you.
This is Possibility, powered by Shopify.
Go to shopify.com/Asian, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features.
Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/Asian right now.
Shopify.com/Asian.
We were talking about just like the craft of it too, and Jane and I, and we were so dumb. We didn't realize that the it's kind of like like Darth Vader the actor and Darth Vader the voice are different.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Which kind of like makes sense. Like, oh, okay, I guess they just add in post. It makes sense. And so we were like, oh, maybe the puppet. Sometimes I was like,
It's the number one question people
there's
ask.
a voice. There's it's all one thing, and
Yeah,
you're like
it's
inhabiting
almost
this thing.
always that.
Whoa.
I mean, I know
Wow.
they did a remake of Jim Henson's Dark Crystal over in the UK. And I think they're like, I don't know, people are going to care about a puppet show. So they brought in all these celebrities to voice over it. But no, typically it's,
Right.
especially at Sesame Street, back in the day, it used to be a new show. I mean, there were like hundreds of episodes a year.
Yeah.
It's not the case anymore, sadly, now. But so it was breakneck.
Yeah.
And so it's just got to
You
be
gotta do it
married.
right then and there.
Yeah. And it makes more sense. It's like it gives room for improv
Right.
and sort of like, characteristic ticks.
Yeah,
If
sure.
you're in total control and in sync with the puppet at the same time. But yeah, no, it's all we're all voice actors, we're all physical actors,
Did you do so? I mean, like you kind of mentioned it before. I mean, you did improv too. Did you do stand up too? Did you do like all these other like creative things
No,
also? And
I
kinda, like,
never saw myself as a performative person, and my parents definitely never let me.
Yeah.
Like performance meant like, okay, you can take the violin, or,
Yeah.
something
Yes.
like that. But no, it was my white husband who was doing UCB improv
Yeah,
in
shout out
his
to the
late
white husband
20s,
sometimes,
late
yeah.
20s,
Yeah.
early 30s, right? I say that because I've told this story so many times, and he's like, it's so clear that I'm like your white husband because you keep talking about like a UCB improv. But he was doing a lot of that. And he saw a class that was like this puppeteer was teaching puppetry for improv, comedy
Oh,
improv.
shit.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, you like puppet stuff, and I do improv. Like, it's a class we can take together.
Oh, that's
That's how it all started. It was just the teacher, I think saw some talent in me, so he would take me on gigs, and that was it. Like, I did my regular job, and every once in a while, if somebody had like a little pilot video or something to do, and I can help out, it was like,
You
this
were
is
doing a
really
little
fun.
thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy because I feel like, and again, I was talking about how nice your voice is and just your presence.
you.
Yeah.
And I mean this in the best possible way. You have a comedy vibe, but you're very expressive.
Yeah?
And
Cool.
I don't know. I feel like maybe, there's a lot of times where, the other day actually at the show, somebody was like, "Oh, you guys are so talented, me and Jenny," and I'm like, "I have no talent. It's all like pure, like over and over and over and over again, right?" But I feel like, if I didn't know you, I'd be like, wow, this person is very like she's got like charisma, real charisma.
Yeah.
Why, thank you.
And then like
That's
so,
very
but
nice.
so like now in like retrospect, it's like okay, yes, it makes of course you're a puppeteer, but you easily could have just done production and that would have been fine. But it's like I guess what I'm trying to say is, I always wonder if there's people who like you who have like just something like a whatever you want to call it, charisma, whatever. But they just they don't use it. They don't pursue that. They don't like showcase that. You know what I'm saying?
It's tricky. I mean, like, what is talent anyway? Like,
Yeah.
I don't, this year has been such a year for growth for me. Again, like I just did like little things. We did like puppet improv. Like we had like
Yeah.
a improv troupe where we performed with puppets.
Oh, that's cool.
insane.
And like,
Explain that to your parents.
Yeah, seriously, really double double layers.
You just don't.
Yeah.
You,
That's like
you would
Inception.
never get
I
rid of
know.
that shame for the rest of your life. And so, no, like, I don't know. Like, you get plopped into sets. Like, this is what happened to me, at least. Like, everybody from that improv class, they were the ones who applied for that Sesame workshop. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that because it'll break my heart if I don't get in.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then literally the night before the deadline, I was like, oh, if any of them get in,
Yeah.
I'm going to regret it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll
You
just
gotta
do it. So I sent it in, and I was the one who got in.
That's awesome.
But then from there, it's like you literally get plopped in the middle of like the best puppeteers of
Right.
this style in the world, and you're like, I am garbage at this,
Wow.
you know?
Yeah.
And so since then, it's been just like this trying to fight against the imposter syndrome of being there and like really truly thinking they're gonna wake up and realize they made a mistake with me at any moment.
Yeah.
But last year, I feel like there was like a big shift for me, like growth wise, where I realize I did. I don't know if you guys know. I did like this walk around costume for Aquafina's Nora from Queens show.
Yeah.
I saw the credit.
Yes. And so, you know, I'm in like this hidden in this costume, and nobody could see me, and I don't get playback. I'm not. Unlike regular puppetry where we're looking at a monitor and like monitoring exactly how we look, I couldn't see anything.
Wow.
I thought that they were originally going to dub my voiceover, but they ended up keeping it.
Oh, wow.
And it just felt like this very freeing thing. Of, like, I don't have to think about how good I am at this. Like, I'm just going to imbue this really aggro, male, disgusting character. And also, we shot it the week of the Atlanta shootings, like the businesses. And it felt like a really perfect opportunity to just like flip the middle finger to people who are like, oh, women, like Asian women are so soft and subservient and sexual and sensual. Yeah. Yeah. And so that was like a click to me of like, oh, nothing I have to do is perfect.
Yeah.
I just have to be in the moment and try to figure out what my thing is that I bring to the table. And honestly, like, again, with the Sesame Street people, some of the best technicians, some of the best manipulators, some of the strongest like improvisers, character actors. And I'm like, what the hell do I bring, you know?
Yeah.
And honestly, some of these talents, like, and talk about stand-up or whatever, like, it's not, you know, sometimes they're not totally quantifiable talents. Like sometimes it's just, for me, honestly, I feel like one of my best gifts, both in production and story producing and just as like a puppeteer, is just being a team player who gets it and can catch the vibe and be like, I get it.
Yep.
You know, like know how to be on set, know how to take a direction. You know what I mean? Like take communication and give it back and be like, I know how to deliver this message that you're trying. Whether it's like, here's how funny versus how serious this scene in 90 Day Fiancé is supposed to be. You know what I mean? Here's the script where we're delivering like curriculum, but it's also got to be funny. You know, and so that's, I don't feel like that is like a talent that has like a word in and of itself.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a thing that I bring to every job that I've ever had, is like, I could be your friend, I can understand what you want, and I will help you get there, you know?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, like, I think it's unfair to say that you don't have any talents, because clearly you have this very popular podcast that, like, I told, like, a few people that I was doing, oh my God, I love those guys, you know? Like, so don't sell yourself short on that.
No, I don't have any podcast.
No, you're funny, you're
that.
Driven, and you're still working and you're still doing it, and people are responsive to what you say. Like, that's, you know, there's no one word for that, but there does it need to be, you know? It's like, it's a thing of like, I went to an Ivy League school, therefore I am, you know, smart. Like, I am a doctor, therefore I am smart. But all of us are trying to figure out what the hell we're doing, you know? And it doesn't give any less value to what we're trying to do, you know, what our expression is.
That's amazing.
You know?
That's amazing.
And there's some stupid doctors out there.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you.
Let's make that clear.
Dude, you know how many doctors I saw, like, when I was... And you know what? Here's the thing about doctors. Because, like, again, going back to... So I'm a breast cancer survivor. I'm, like, 4 years out. And, like, so I went to hospitals all the GD time. Like, you know?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of doctors who have a sense of humor, I've noticed. And when you find
serious.
one,
They're very serious.
When you find one, you're like, wow, they have such great bedside manner, and you realize like it's because the 99 other % of doctors you've ever seen are just like, like they don't, they don't.
It definitely is something.
Yeah.
I think that is something, you know, you.
Sorry to doctors out there. I'm sure there are funny ones out there, but just, you know, from
it's just
my
there's a
personal
lot
experience.
of
There's like one funny doctor.
there's not enough
on
of you.
TikTok. I
And we're
think there's
just
that one
talking
guy.
to you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there are some funny doctors on TikTok.
He's an ophthalmologist, so is he really a doctor? You know, so that's
They
like
make so much money.
that's true. That's true.
So,
we should have done that.
No, I'm not smart
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
No,
You don't have to be smart.
enough.
Ophthalmology. No, it's
No,
I'm just kidding.
I'm not books. I'm not a book smart.
This summer, give yourself a boost of confidence. COVID is still present, and we should continue to do our part to slow the spread and keep not only ourselves but others healthy. The CDC recommends vaccines for everyone 6 months and older. COVID vaccines for those 12 and under are given in a lower, smaller dose for younger children. So go ahead and enjoy your summer. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. # we can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Okay, guys, I don't want you to freak out. I don't want you to get all fixated on this, but think about how dirty your butthole is right now. Yes, I said it. When's the last time you washed it after pooping? Never? You just use toilet paper? That makes it even worse. It's time you started washing your tush with the Hello Tushy bidet. I got one a long time ago. It was an anniversary gift. I love it. I tell you, I feel like that fancy French guy meme. You know the one I'm talking about. It's so cleansing. It's so nice. The Hello Tushy bidet attachment washes your bum with fresh water for a way better clean than toilet paper. Simply spray and pat dry it. And it attaches to your existing toilet. Even someone with a sociology degree like me can install it. All right. We want all of our listeners to have clean bums. Visit hellotushy.com/ANA to get 10% off plus free shipping right now. Go do it. That's hellotushy.com/ANA for 10% off.
Okay, so I was stalking your IMDb.
Okay.
And I saw that you were on 2 episodes of Saturday Night Live.
I was.
And I want to talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk
How was
about
the
it.
experience? What did you do? How does that happen?
Okay, so my friends at Monkey Boys production, they build a lot. Anytime you see a puppet on SNL, it's usually them who builds it, like in the last hour.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I met them through, Small World of Puppets. And literally, it was like the day before my daughter's birthday. And my friend Mark calls me up, Mark Petrosino of Monkey Boys, and he's like, so they just wrote a joke where, what's his name again? Oh gosh, he has the same name as Stephen Miller, the immigration guy from Trump's cabinet. Evil dude.
Oh, for sure.
And so they wrote a last minute bit where a snake would come up from a coffee table. They're like, Stephen Miller, you made it to the meeting. And Mark Petrosino is a big barrel-chested guy. And he's like, I can't even lie down flat and fit under this coffee table. Are you available?
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's my daughter's birthday. I gotta make cupcakes. I'm sorry. And I hang up the phone. And my husband's like, what was that? I'm like, Mark wanted to see if I could do SNL. And he's like, really? It's like Phoebe Waller-Bridges and it's Taylor Swift? You sure you don't want to go? I'm like, no, not go. To do puppets. He's like, you get on the phone right now? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Of course. I'm like, I have to make cupcakes, And so it was chaos.
Yeah.
It's chaos. Like,
Sure.
my friend James Whitehall is like this incredibly fast puppet builder. He's got like 3 different puppet choices, and none of them are puppets. One is like a stuffed animal. One's like one of those like flappy toys that you get at a zoo that like you pull a handle and like and like the director comes over and he's like, he looks like, Steve Jobs in like a black turtleneck and glasses, like very severe looking, and he's going in like it looked like a movie scene. He's like, yes, no, I don't understand that. And it's like minutes till rehearsal,
right.
and so my friend is like, cut off the plush body of the snake and put it around the toy, and he's like literally painting it. And I'm rushed into the dress rehearsal. I don't know the script.
I was gonna say, you like just showed up.
It just showed up. And so then they're like, well, where are you gonna want your arm? Because we're gonna drill a hole through it right now on the table. I'm like, well, if it's a puppet like this,
right,
then I guess here. And they drill a hole.
Yeah.
Then they give me the puppet, but it's a long stick. It's
Right.
not a soft
Yeah.
puppet. So I have to lay down on my back and somehow get like a stiff, straight, giant stick to come up
Yeah.
at the right time.
Yeah.
I, again, don't know what the script is. I'm just like waiting for someone to say, Stephen Miller. I'm like, I guess I. And so I keep like trying to practice. They're like, no, don't give the joke away. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
What are you talking about?
And so anyway, we tried it once like without the puppet during dress rehearsal, and then we have a wet paint still drying on this like janky ass puppet during rehearsal, which is taped in front of a live audience before they cut down the jokes for the actual taping. And I'm like, I don't know. And so they're like, literally the first time I like saw what it looked like on camera was in front of a live audience.
Oh my God.
With like everybody around me. It was what's that guy's name from Matthew Broderick was as I forget who he played, but Beck Bennett was like right at my was at his feet, and he's like, are you gonna be down there the whole time? I'm like, yes, Mr. Beck Bennett, I'm a big fan. And he's like, okay. But yeah, it was chaos. And then it's like as soon as live from New York, because it was the cold open, live from New York, it's Saturday night, just dozens of people descend on the set, and like pieces of it just go off, and it is like the most incredibly well orchestrated dance. And like I'm like, do I move now? Do I move? And my friend Mark had to like lead me through it. Like it felt like a POV of like a war raid happening, where it's like
things happen.
Walls are passing by, and like props are going, and like people are running, and like wardrobe people are. You just have to like weave your way back to like a safe zone where you're not in anybody's way, because it is so fast. And then the second time, what did I do? The second time was It was with Keegan-Michael Key. It was like this parody of the Muppet Show. I don't know if you remember this. He's like, hey, Cormit. Did he call him Cormit? Kramer. Him and what's that guy's name? The guy who's been on for like forever.
Keenan.
Keenan. Yeah, Keenan
So
Thompson.
Keenan and Keenan were playing like security guards at the theater where Waldorf.
Yes,
yes,
now
I remember
the
this.
sketch.
Yeah.
We're heckling, and so they're like, hey, what did I tell you? So I was supposed to be a chicken that pops up, and it just hard cuts to like a chicken to be random and funny, but then the bit got cut. And so like between rehearsal and the taping, so I got to right hand for fake Kermit.
Oh, okay.
And so that was that. But it was really great.
That's so cool.
So I mean, you did that, and it's like that's just like a 1 day thing, and you got to go back to making cupcakes and stuff, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. I did that the Stephen Miller Snake, and then I'm in Queens, and so like from what is it?
Rockefeller Center.
Yeah, Rockefeller Center. I did it. Took the 20-minute train back home.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching the rest of the show that I'd seen the dress rehearsal for
really?
earlier that day. And so my husband, he's like, "You were just there." I'm like, "I was just there."
Oh, you
You're
just
supposed to
leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just left. That's
Yeah,
right.
it was
Yeah.
like late, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need to stay. I don't think there was really after parties happening because
Right.
no, I don't remember why, because it was before COVID. But so I did my bit. I stayed to watch Taylor Swift, and then I took the end home.
Is it?
And then I was home.
Isn't it weird
wild.
sometimes how like mundane something like that is? It's like you can imagine. Like if I were to tell, Kathy from several years ago, like, hey, you want to be on SNL? You'd be like, what? And now you just like, yeah, I did the train. And then actually, I was gonna pass because I got some cupcakes in the oven.
I was stupid. It was a dumb
No,
thing to
but
say.
but I feel like sometimes like it's one of those things like I was kind of talking up top about, you know what you're doing, but then like something like this really cool happens, and you just kind of like, oh yeah, that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And you have to like stop and think about how crazy that was.
No,
you know?
Right.
there's been this past year again. I'm not a reality show producer. I'm just a puppeteer, a very humble puppeteer. You don't do it for the glory or the fame nor the money. Trust me.
Yeah.
And so this past year, though, especially with Chi-young, like it's been I don't know how to put into words like what this last year has been, because it's all of our story, right? Where we're like, we grew up and didn't see kids who look like us on TV, and now it's a
Right.
different story. And I didn't think it was going to be a big deal because there's so much more Asian visibility right now.
Yep.
But there's something, I guess there's something to these parents who grew up watching the show being able to show their kids a different world where we
Yeah.
belong. Like a kid with a hyphenated name is friends with Elmo, and it's
Right.
fine. She's American
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she's
yeah.
Korean at the same time. And I guess she came together really fast in response to the anti-Asian hate conversation. And so we didn't really have time to think about what the impact would be, but it's been absolutely overwhelming.
Well, it's
there have been a lot of like, is this my life moments like this
Right.
year?
Crazy.
A lot. Yeah. And everyone's like, you got to capitalize on it. I'm like, I just got here. They're like, do you have the pitch? Do you need to meet people? I'm like, no, I just got here.
yeah.
No. So I'm just trying to take it all in and figure out, do I need to go back to production or what's the next move? I have
Well,
no
we
idea.
love it. We think it's great. And yeah, I think it would be great if you went back into production, but brought the puppet with you. You know
Oh,
what I'm
and
saying?
only talk through the puppet.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
puppet is the one doing the
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
Very Asian American, actually.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
right.
saying?
That's
Yeah.
right. Like, oh yeah, no. I can totally recut that whole scene for you. But I don't know if I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ji-yeon is gonna
Yeah.
Young Ji, we'll call her Young Ji.
Yeah,
I don't know
Young
if
Ji.
Young Ji is gonna be cool with that.
Young
Are you
Ji-
cool with that, Young Ji?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young G's gonna get just go back to UX.
I just
think
bring
that's what-
or maybe I just bring like a disapproving Asian mom puppet back
Oh,
to
that's
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
need
yeah,
representation too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Give it up for the. Well, I am an Asian mom, so I guess.
Hey! All right. We love it. We're with our guest, and it's we're having a lot of fun right now, and we're gonna do voicemails.
Let's do it.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
We answered voicemails from our fans. We've been getting a fair amount. We love it. I love hearing them. They're just like little fun, like clips of the world that I feel you never get to hear about. So if you want to get up on these voicemails, number is 646-809-7231. That's 646-809-7231. It could be about anything. You can tell us what kind of Asian you were. You can tell us if you can ask us if something is Asian or not Asian. We just want to hear your voices because it's so fun. And so here's one that we're gonna do. And give me a second while I got it all set up here.
Hey, Asian Not Asian podcast, Mick and Jenny. So this week I have been a what the fuck Asian. So I work in film, and the show that I work on is a complete dumpster fire. Every single day, something ridiculous happens, and it's just gone past laughable to defeat from all the WTFs that I have had to work through in my brain. Anyways, so while during this dumpster fire, I caught COVID. Hooray. And during this, I am working in a different city for the couple of last weeks. And the city also happens to be my hometown, which I escaped after high school graduation. And now it feels like I can't escape it because I have to stay here until I am symptom-free to get on that plane. So while isolating, I asked my sister to get me a taro flush bubble tea as a pick-me-up. So she delivered that. I got it with some other snacks. I set it on the table, and I'm just kind of looking through the snacks she got me. And I knocked over my taro slash bubble tea. Tried to save it as much as I could. There was still a whole bunch of it on the floor. And considering everything that's happened and with COVID and everything, I said, fuck it. I grabbed that straw and I sucked the slush up from the bigger piles of slush on the floor. The hotel is a newer hotel, so the floor looked pretty clean. Nonetheless, I did not regret my decision. So that is my big what the fuck week. Thank you.
Oh my God, that is heartbreaking.
So much going on in this thing. First of all, man, Asian people, we be in production. Let's just say that.
I know, seriously.
We be in production. Yeah, and then the second thing, I love that her getting trapped in her hometown with COVID. That's a rom-com right there. I think a holiday rom-com.
You think that she's gonna find the love of her life?
Yeah,
now?
she's like, Susie was too busy living her life, and then cut to
Big
shots
city.
big city. She's cut to shots of her talking to Matthew Broderick, blah blah blah. Then love hadn't given up on her, so she goes back to her hometown. She meets like a heartthrob guy wearing like a Henley and
he
then
chops trees.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the local tree chopper.
I'm the local tree chopper, and then she gets COVID, and this fall. The new wave. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a name for this
the
thing.
next variant, love.
Oh! Get infected.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Anyway, but then also she's drinking boba off of the ground.
I respect that.
I do too,
I respect
honestly.
that. I like, oh my God. When leading up to it, because I've been on What the Fuck productions as well.
Oh yeah.
And maybe we end up there because we have a high tolerance for abuse or something like that.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of thankless work when you're a producer, and producers don't get overtime, but you just you really care about making it good and being good for your team. But oh gosh, all of that leading up to the spill, the spill broke my heart. I would just start crying.
That would suck.
That's what I thought it was going.
Yeah, but she took her destiny and her big bubble tea straw in her own hands, and she's like, you know what? Screw it. This is what I need right now, and I don't care how it's delivered. I'm gonna go for this. I really respect her for doing it.
Resilient.
I think it's a production move.
Yeah.
It's a very production move to solve the problem. Just be like, hey, listen, we just spilled all this boba on the ground. What are we gonna do? We're gonna drink it. Grab the straw and let's get it done.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I would have put on Joji's Glimpse of Us, that new song that's so sad. If I was in her position and I dropped the boba, I would literally be like, nope. Put on Joji's Glimpse of Us. lie down horizontal on whatever surface is closest to me and just start sobbing.
Just cry.
Absolutely give up.
It's such a woe is me moment. It was
Yeah,
like clear such a
totally.
woe. It's like her one
Yeah.
glimmer
Her
of
one
joy
thing.
and hope and connection to her family.
I
It was just, oh God.
I don't know where this person is from. You know how big this hometown is.
that
but
factors in. I would like to know
that's
what the
another
hometown
thing
is.
too. I because I feel sometimes it's hard to get boba. You know, I think depending on where
If
you're
you're
from.
outside of like a big
Yeah,
city.
if you're out of a
I
big
know-
thing,
yeah, I
it
agree.
can be hard. Even in New York City, if you're not like in Chinatown, right? You
Yeah.
go- or Queens.
Right, it's
Totally.
not like a Starbucks.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like in the Upper West Side they're gonna have like really good
good
boba
point.
there. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? They're gonna have good bagels and stuff. But like, you know, so like maybe she, you know they had to she had to like import this shit, you know, across state lines or something
Maybe.
in order to get it. You know,
Yeah.
this is some like expensive shit.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I think that's fun.
Well, I'm sorry for the terrible week, but also I think that sometimes everything just falls apart, but then you're going to come out of it stronger.
I think so too.
Yeah, it is true. And I, you know, despite you having a terrible, terrible week, and I hope that the COVID's not too bad, and you know,
Yeah.
like I hope the vaccine's doing its thing. But you know, I think it's a good sign that you took your, you know, your crappy week into your own hands
Yes.
with that slurping up the boba. I think instead of looking at it as a low point, I think that's where you see like the week turning around because it's you know
Whoa.
Yeah.
you controlled that moment.
You have
100%.
Took that moment and decided I'm not gonna lay down and cry like me and Jenny would. Like you know I'm going to eke whatever joy I can out
Yeah.
of this.
I also want everyone to remind everyone that when you are at your lowest, give us a voicemail, okay? 646-809-7231. We live for shit like
Yes.
this, okay?
Incredible way to
gosh.
wrap that up. I was going to say, and you can also tweet about it. That would be my first thought. If something horrible happens to me, I'm like, I'm going to stop and then I will tweet about
That's
it.
hilarious. See, this is where I'm not a comedian mind because in my mind I'm like, is this turning like weirdly positive? Like out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Everything
we're
is
jealous.
yeah.
We're like, we're jealous of that material you just
Oh
got
my
by
God,
slurping up that boba.
You're so
Oh,
lucky
man.
that this horrible thing happened to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I wish I was trapped in a hotel room. But yeah, that's a good one. Again, we're with our guest Kathy Kim of Sesame Street, but I don't know. I feel I'm going to see you in all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I hope so.
But I think so. You got it, kid.
I would like to work more, you know.
Would you want to do? Would you want to do other, you know, out like over the table stuff? Because
Oh,
Over
like,
the table.
with my actual human fleshy
with
body?
with your fleshy body.
Yeah.
No.
No. Why not?
How about like voice acting?
I would do voice acting. But
I think you would be great.
I think
at
you'd be
that.
really good at that.
Thanks. I'm gonna give it a try. But you know, fleshy acting. It sounds. That's tough.
What?
That's tough.
You're
It's
doing it right
tough.
now.
Fleshy
It's
acting's tough.
I know, like way cuter, more talented actors who are. You know, it's tough out there, man.
It is tough, but
Yeah.
you know, don't. you gave me a pep talk. I give you a pep
Oh,
talk.
that's good. That's
Okay,
good. You give
you
me
know?
pep talk, I give you pep talk.
Yeah, my friend, sit down. I give pep talk very cheap. Okay, you have what it takes, kid. You know, like
Yeah.
I think you don't do that.
Thanks, Vlad.
You know. Yeah, you're welcome. Vlad, I'm positive Vlad. You are
Vlad.
great. Hey, you are queen. What can I say?
Okay, Mike, get that on TikTok ASAP.
That's
Get
right.
that character up
You
there.
could be the new Yakov Smirnoff. Do you guys remember him?
I
my
You're
love-
too young.
I used to.
I remember the name.
Yeah.
It's
Whatever
like
it is.
but in Russia, but
But
it's
in
like
Russia.
it's you know, it's like but in Russia the boba drinks you off the floor. You know, I don't know. Just
I feel I'm about to be a star now. Thanks to
Yeah,
Vlad.
yeah.
Thanks. So, all right, we're gonna play our one more game. It's the Asian not Asian game. In this game, we're just gonna list a couple things that we've been talking about on the podcast,
Oh.
and we're gonna talk about if it's Asian or not Asian.
okay.
Okay, let me think here. I was supposed to write some of these down.
you're just gonna
literally-
word
I'm just
association
gonna
stuff.
go back in
That's
my
where I'm at
mind
right now,
and
too.
use my memory box
Oh.
and try
Does it
to.
have to be stuff from this episode?
I guess it would help
Okay.
because that's usually how we play the game.
Okay.
But it could be something tangential. Okay, we'll just get started and maybe we'll think of more stuff. All right, ready? UX design.
Say Asian.
Asian.
Because, you know,
Yep.
I don't know why. Well, because it's like a, you know, it's like a tech version of being artistic and designy.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like a new what you call it? Oh, am I the only one answering these?
No, everyone can play. We're all playing.
You lead though.
You can start off.
Jeez, Louise. So yeah, no, I'm gonna say Asian because it's like there's money in it
Yes.
and there's design, but in a tech field.
Yes. Perfect. Ooh,
I agree.
Yeah. Just say the word tech
Yeah.
to Asian parents. and
Yeah,
they'll be like, "Ah, cool."
computers. My brother's
Computers.
like, yeah, I work in computers. That's how he explains it to
Oh.
them.
Perfect explanation.
That's a great. You know, that's always a great thing because everything has to do with
Pretty
computers.
much everything has to do
Yeah.
with computers.
So if your
yeah.
parents ever ask you, I mean, you
Yeah.
know, you got. I mean, hey, if you write on SNL, you have to write on a computer.
Yeah.
I work in computers, mom.
I have to turn one on every day.
yeah.
I love that.
Okay, I have one.
Go.
Keenan Thompson.
Oh shit! Whoa!
I mean, he is pretty blackety black. But the fact that
he's a
he's
black
like
guy.
stuck with and been loyal to one company is a very Asian aspect
Yes.
of
Yo, you're
I
so good at this
agree.
game.
I literally was going to say that. I was like, he has been there for so long
Yeah.
that my parents probably associate him with as SNL at this
Yo.
point.
and not Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think about how, first of all, I think that, I mean, Keenan is very successful. I think he should be really successful.
I agree.
He's
so good.
He's so talented. And
Yeah.
clearly a hard worker. And I always think about, of course, I'm not on SNL, but I always think about if I were on SNL, I would try to be on SNL over and over and over again because that is a staple job, right?
Yeah.
That's like, right? And I'm always like surprised when people leave SNL. I'm like, why would you leave SNL? That seems like such a good paycheck. You know, so I could almost see. I've always wanted to ask him this. I don't know if this is his reasoning, but I'm like, it does seem like a very Asian move to just like be the corporate comedy guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like SNL is probably as corporate as it's gonna
Right.
get.
It is, but it's the schedule of it is so breakneck.
That's true.
It's really
Yeah.
That's
ruthless,
true.
and he's established himself,
He
but
has.
it doesn't make it any less hard.
Right.
Totally.
And so that probably is another Asian aspect of him, and he's like, oh, I'll just do it because this is
Right.
like where I am.
Yeah.
You know, but maybe he loves it. Maybe he
No,
loves it.
of course.
I mean, and he's incredible.
Oh, he's
incredible.
amazing.
Anytime he steps on set, you're just like, you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
You know,
sometimes you get nervous about some of the
Yeah.
other performers. You're like, this is going to be good.
Exactly.
Because
This is
Keenan
gonna be
just
good.
showed up. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Reliable.
But that's
Reliable.
you know, like I feel
like a Toyota.
Yes. Keenan is the Toyota Camry of SNL.
he's a good one. He's like
Utility
he's
guy.
like the XL edition. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With,
Oh, yeah, like
with the
the nice-
leather trim.
Totally.
Yeah.
Super.
The most expensive
Yeah, he's not
version
a
of a
basic.
Camry.
He's not a basic Toyota.
No,
He's
no.
the best
no,
Toyota.
no.
Yeah.
He's the one that you know your Asian mom would approve of the splurge of this one. This
Yeah.
is a splurge.
Yeah.
But but it's good. It got really good reviews and it's in Car and Driver says
Exactly.
top pick of 2019. So I think that's pretty good. Okay, that's a pretty good. Yeah. Do you have any? You want to throw one out?
Oh, geez, Louise. I don't know. I don't know. I was like, honestly, I was like expecting to hear more about like BJ's and diarrhea today.
Oh.
And so I wasn't expecting to like do thinking man stuff about Asian people.
Okay. We could
No,
quickly
it's okay.
transition.
Hard right turn
Totally-
if that's what you want.
No,
we
that's
can
not.
easily transition
no,
to that.
I don't know. I'm gonna pass on it
Okay.
until I can
Okay.
think of something good.
Okay, fine. Let me see here. There was I have my fucking outline here. Why not I just look through that like a dumbass?
Oh, you have an outline.
kind of
Cheat sheet.
cheat sheet. We have some
Oh, here I have one.
aha.
Because I'm looking at DJing.
A DJing. Oh, because we got that little setup here?
Yeah, that's just word association.
Yeah, for sure. I feel, that's definitely Asian.
I would say that maybe 5 years ago, I would say it was Asian.
Yes.
It feels less Asian now.
Oh.
Let me try to explain why I have to think about it. Well, first of all, this is just kind of personal to me. I'm sorry that I'm just taking over now, but
No. Please do.
My high school, within my year of graduation and the year above, have two very successful DJs.
What? Who?
Elenium was in my class. I don't know if, but
Yeah.
everyone listening, that's an Asian ass artist. Elenium, he's white. Elenium went to my high school, graduating class. I did not know him. He played lacrosse. He was like a bro.
Oh, funny.
Probably I would say hands down the most famous person from my grade.
Oh.
Like he played Coachella, Red Rocks, like really big.
Oh, my.
The second is Zoo. And he's a year older, and he's Asian.
Ah.
But I would say 5 years ago, if I went to a show, I'd be like, mostly Asian people love EDM.
Yes, that's true.
Now, and maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe it's because in Brooklyn there's so many people who are DJs. And it's not just Asian people, it's like everyone is a DJ.
Yeah.
To me,
I'm a DJ, right? You're a DJ too.
My
We're all
brother,
DJs.
the UX designer, was a DJ.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
I swear
We got him
there
on
was
the
like that
podcast.
chart on Twitter that was going around, which is like a map of Brooklyn, and it's like if you live below this line south, you're a podcaster, and if you live north of this line, you're a DJ.
Hilarious.
Whoa.
And I'm just like,
Hilarious.
yeah, it's no longer just an Asian thing. I'm just like,
Okay.
50% of the population is a DJ,
Is a DJ.
50% is a podcaster.
So it's like the whatever the Asianness of DJs has been diluted.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how it feels to me.
Yeah. I buy that.
Okay, I like that. Okay, well, that's the Asian not Asian game, baby.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, we couldn't think of anything else, so we're just gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it going. But thank you so much, Kathy, for coming on to the show.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. It was fun.
We hope that we see you in tons of stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I think
likewise.
we will, though.
I,
Like, for
honestly,
sure.
I think.
Getting old.
Well, listen. If you don't want to do fleshy body stuff, I hope nobody
Yes.
cuts that out and uses that out of context because it sounds really weird. But
That's what we say because like we do have puppeteers at Sesame who also are on Broadway or they act or they do commercials and stuff, and that's what we jokingly refer to
Fleshy
it as.
body
like
stuff.
fleshy,
Fleshy body
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
Fleshy
fleshy
stuff.
acting.
yeah.
Fleshy
Yeah.
acting.
I mean, if you think about it, aren't we all puppeteering our fleshy bodies?
That's true.
Wow.
Whoa.
All right. I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Wear it to Sesame Street.
If you don't want to do
Become
fleshy
the
body
hero.
stuff, I think, hey, you know what? You should only do with things that excite you. But I would want to say, me and Vlad want to say, you know, I have a lot of people come through here, and many comedians and most comedians come through here, and they're funny people, but I know they had to work at it. They had to work at their bedside manner of comedy. And I feel you got the bedside manner part, at least, for sure. So
I'm a nice person.
that's what we love. That's what we promote here
Yes.
on the Asian Not Asian podcast. That
Yes.
and diarrhea blowjobs.
No, I'm sorry. It was just because like when you asked me to come on, I was like, oh, I've heard this before. Maybe like listen to what their format is right now and I listened to like a few and I'm like, there's a lot of talk about BJ's and diarrhea
Well,
on
let's
this show.
just say since I've joined, not a single conversation about diarrhea or blowjobs because I refuse.
Okay,
I'm just
great.
like, what are your feelings and your biggest fears?
That is your greatest contribution is a subtraction of
Yes, I've never once said fleshlight.
You haven't.
Yeah, whereas when
That
Fumi
used
was
to-
Was that
here,
a thing that you
That
guys
was
said
a
a
huge
lot?
thing.
Fumi was here, I swear every episode fleshlights was said like 17 times.
Yeah,
How many do you think
bought
he
him,
has?
I bought him his first
Oh,
one.
Lord.
Yeah, as a gag gift for Christmas, but then I realized that he uses it, and that makes
Oh,
me feel.
God.
Yes,
See, this is just a taste of where this could have gone.
exactly.
Yeah. No.
Don't worry, I'll be on your
let's
side. too. I'll be
focus
like,
on.
No, let's talk
Yeah.
about disapproving Asian
Yeah,
parents.
no, let's focus on
Boba tea on the floor.
on on making cupcakes. So
Yeah.
that's, I think, sweet. Anyway, so where can our fans find you and your work?
So I need to set up a public account, but you can friend request my private Instagram. And if you're not-
so funny.
You're so wholesome.
Listen, you know what
You
it
don't
is?
even have- you're
It's
like, oh, we can be friends.
What am I going to set up on a public account? Like, go to Sesame Street or, whatever. Like, I'm like, my holistic brand, if you want to, quote unquote, is like, I'm a mom, I'm a this, I'm a that. And so I'm like, it's all there already if you want to know who I am. I just don't want everybody
Yeah.
to know who I am. So it's like, if you seem like a cool Asian person or you're into puppets or maybe you're like also a mom who watches Sesame Street, I will probably allow, but if you seem like a bot, or you're trying to sell me like
Yeah.
Do you want to
Viagra,
increase your
You're
Instagram
outta here.
followers? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or one of those people that so follow me at KAFODE. It's cathode. It's like a misspelling of cathode ray, which is like the tube that they used for televisions back in the day.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
wow.
Sorry, that was too much of an explanation. Very boring.
All right, and you can follow me on Instagram at nicepantsbro.
And me at Jenny Arimoto.
And you can always follow the podcast at Asian Not Asian Pod. And please don't forget, you can always leave us a voicemail. Once again, that number, I should memorize this number, 646-809-7231. And also, we're going to have our Hack City show. I mentioned it up top. It's next one's August 12th. Please come by, and tickets are available in the description of this episode. And until then,
Drink your boba off the floor.
boom. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.